Get their nails done now.
After that we see helicopters of Monarch which are going to check what happened to dead troops and to arrest evil guys of the Rollo, but then the tank of the Rollo rises from the ground and it shoots helicopters and it soon drops all the helicopters on Skull Island. Then tank turns to the ocean and it disappears in the ocean. Then we see Nazuki which is roaring so loud like it's trying to wake something up. Kong gets angry and Nazuki starts going towards Kong. Kong tries to hit her but Nazuki soon got on the neck of Kong and it started choking. Kong tried to take her off but Nazuki was holding so strong. Then Kong started choking Nazuki with hands and Nazuki was holding less powerful. Then Kong took Nazuki out and he held her like a baseball bat. And he hit her on the rock and it hurt Nazuki so much. Then Kong threw Nazuki away. Nazuki was feeling so exhausted when Kong started going towards her. Nazuki soon realized everything and he got to right. Kong tried to hit her but Nazuki bit him in the neck and when Kong took her out he realized that Nazuki left some scars on him. Nazuki soon bit him in the hand and Kong got so angry, he caught Nazuki through Nazuki's mouth and he tried break her jaws. Nazuki bit him in the fingers and it was too painful for Kong. Then Nazuki tried to go away but Kong caught her through her tail and he dropped it on the ground and Nazuki got so exhausted. Then Kong took her again and he threw it at one of the mountains and Nazuki got so damaged. But Nazuki found another hole to the hollow earth and she started climbing inside. Only her tail was left when Kong caught her through her tail and he pulled Nazuki from the ground. Then Nazuki flipped herself and she bit Kong in a face. Kong got so damaged on the face, and he roared so loud. Then Nazuki got on Kong's neck again and she started choking him. Then we see Monarch soldiers which are discussing to launch small Mechagodzilla, but then they said that they would just waste them. And they should just let them fight. Then we see Kong which is trying to take Nazuki. But Nazuki bites him in the neck and Kong seems less powerful. Nazuki keeps being on Kong's neck. Kong started losing his mind and he fell on the ground. Then Nazuki got off Kong and she started roaring when Kong caught her through her mouth and he dropped her on the ground so painfully. Then Nazuki was feeling so exhausted when Kong took her through her tail and he threw her away. Nazuki fell on ground but after 5 seconds she started moving. But then Kong jumped on him and he crushed his center stomach. It made Nazuki cut in half, and Nazuki started bleeding. Then Kong looked at half Nazuki which was trying to escape. Kong laughed a bit and he crushed the head of Nazuki with his feet. Then Kong felt tired and decided to have little nap, and he fell in the lake. He didn't verb in water cause he was so big. Then we see Monarch outposts on Skull Island where they are discussing about Nazuki. Then we see helicopter goes into hole which let Nazuki rise on Skull Island and the helicopter lands there. Skull crawlers disappeared for some reason so Monarch started exploring underground village. Then one of the explorers decided to walk it left. And he stepped on skull of something. Then he started digging round and he found skull of Tyrannosaurus Rex. Then they called another helicopter and they took the skull in laboratory. Then they started going deeper and they discovered more paintings of Kongs fighting skull crawlers. As it seems there were around 8 Kongs on the island before. Then everyone got excited and they started taking pictures. Then we see Osprey which is landing on Skull Island. Then we see George and Brooks which are coming down from Osprey and they met other members in a meeting center. Then we see monitors from which they are spectating Explorer. Then George said that it was cool that they found new location. But then Brooks answered, "Yeah. At cost of 20 lives." After that we see the Rollo's base where they are so angry that there was nothing useful in their behavior and in the hollow earth. Then Bill came in and he said, "Don't worry. We will figure something out to kill this giant ape." Then one of the men said that this giant ape killed giant snake and over 60 skull crawlers. Then we see George which is arriving on Skull Island with Osprey helicopter. We soon get to see Dr. Brooks arriving with him. Then they get into outpost of Skull Island and we see Monarch team which are spectating Monarch explorers which are flying into giant underground village which has just been discovered. They weren't afraid because all the skull crawlers were run away or disappeared. Then we see one of the explorers which is walking there and he sees some writings on the walls, but the dust doesn't let him see it completely, So he erases some dust with his hand, and he saw something fantastic. He saw around 8 Kong species fighting skullcrawlers and giant Tyrannosaurus-like dinosaurs preparing to fight them all, and this was painted on a wall. Explorer called the helicopter and they took this part of wall to the base. Then we see George, which is walking to the base where they called him from, and he gets into room where giant piece of wall is placed and scientists are exploring it. Then Brooks came with him and he told him, "We just found out that there had been giant Tyrannosaurus on this island in past." Then George answered, "But now he is dead." Then Brooks asked him, "How can you be sure?" And Brooks continued talking. He had been scariest thing on island. It was even forbidden for people to write about him. But then one of the ancient people decided to write it anyway. And the piece which we found was in some kind of a secret basement. Then George said calmly, "We have no proof that this thing has ever existed or if it's alive. So just move on, old man." Then Brooks told him that Monarch had noticed another activites in underground just 10 minutes. Then George told him, "Is it another skullcrawler?" Brooks told him, "No. It's caused by something really large." Then alarms turn on and the military helicopters go towards the beach. Then Brooks asked, "What's happening?" Then one of the scientists told him that they noticed huge seismic activities coming from the beach. And it might be something really huge. Then Brooks told George to have left the island, but George answered that he wasn't going to miss this. Then we see 4 military helicopters which are flying to the beach, and we see something rising, giant Tyrannosaurus-like dinosaur which was around 85 meters, and he was green. He was called Gorosaurus. He rose and he started walking on Skull Island, and then he roared and soon Kong roared back. Then Gorosaurus looked at Kong, which was staring at him with so angry face. Gorosaurus went towards him. Kong also started going towards him. Helicopters got away to not get smashed by monsters. Gorosaurus was walking towards Kong when Kong jumped up and hit him in the face.